Yo,
What
Colts Nation, what's up? Tossing horseshoes here. I got Hayden here, my cousin. We just got chatting on the off screen, but here, man, big game. Game.
And my dog's barking day one. Hold on.
Day one, man. So let's talk into it, man. So what you think? Where were you watching the game today? In the new house?
Yeah.
You ain't got the new house.
Yeah. With my grand piano in the background, Uncle Bob. I bought that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's our first live broadcast today. So what we're going to do, man, we got, we're just going to recap the game, but also, we want to hear from you all. If y'all are tuned in, let's hear some interaction. We'll bring it up similar to how we kind of normally go through our episodes. So, hey, Colts diving in, baby. Big game on the Colts side. Divisional. What are we, tied for first in the AFC South?
Nah, we're back. I guess that tie put us back. But next week.
Next week's going to be a big deciding factor. Now, hey, Frank Reich might have saved his job if he wins next week. We'll see. I know that's a tough subject for you. Yeah. So, hey, what was your biggest takeaway from today, man?
The last play of the game.
Last play of the game out.
It's having the nuts to throw the ball deep, not having any time to throw the ball again. Well, a little bit better, right? And to just send it to the end zone on third down. Of all the downs, third and 10.
Third and 10, man. That was massive.
Suck it. I mean, Alec Pierce burned that dude all game, so Pittman was like a decoy.
And that's what we want, though. You want that with it, with depth at the wide receiver spot. You want to have some decoys. So, I mean, Pittman still had a decent game, 134 yards.
Career game. You go with 13 receptions.
I hear you, though. End of the game, you go big. Third and 10. That was a massive play, man.
That was the biggest takeaway. I mean, and I'm going to go on a limb and say this. As much as I like Darius Leonard, Zaire Franklin needs to start.
Zaire Franklin's a dog.
He's
a dog. Is he still leading the let's see how many tackles he had.
Well, he was tied with Roquan Smith, so whatever Roquan Smith does this week, they were tied for first. And with that, Stephen Gilmore they need to play Isaiah Ross. Stephen Gilmore needs to split with somebody. He's not athletic enough anymore. He's too old. He got burned when he played. That Denver game, if Russell Wilson isn't late, we lose. So
Brandon Fissione, he does not need to be starting. You need to have Isaiah Rodgers in there. I mean, how many times did we see Brandon getting burned? I mean, on those, what was it, the second TD run? Rush for 40 yards or whatever it was? I mean,
the one at the end of the quarter or whatever?
Yeah, the one at the
end of the
half.
That wasn't really necessarily getting burned. I mean, he did his job, right? He covered the outside, didn't allow anybody to get in, but there was nobody behind him. So, I mean, that was honestly just you got to give props where props are due, and Jacksonville played pretty well. Yeah.
Hey, Jacksonville played they showed out in the run game. We averaged, I think, 90 yards per game, and they had 200 plus. I think they had 150 before halftime. And that's it. Hey, that brought that opened up the wounds from Maurice Jones-Drew back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we had pressure on Trevor Lawrence all game. We just never really got to him. Besides, three times maybe. I'll live with a run. I won't live with 40-yard plus runs, but I'll live with 10, 12. However, the fourth quarter, we could not stop them. Horrible spot by the refs. Again, Jacksonville converted that third down. Luckily, they converted the fourth. Well, not luckily, but they did convert the fourth with Trevor Lawrence on the QB sneak. But we can't keep going to third downs, and they can't keep converting on third downs as well. We are a 3 yards, 4 yards, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5 team every time.
I will say our first and second downs look pretty good.
We get yards. However, we put ourselves in third down. Like Peyton was never big on third down plays. Like if you don't have to go third down, at some point you have to get 10 plus yards of completion. You can't just keep getting 5, 6. You know what I mean? And then also we stopped running the ball.
Yeah. Once Deion Jackson got to start limping up a little bit. I mean, Philip Lindsay, bless his heart, he's got it, right? But Deion Jackson stood up big. And once he starts kind of going out, I mean, we kind of went away from it a little bit, but I'll tell you, the short passes worked out pretty well for us as well.
They did in the beginning, then we stopped doing them. I'll tell you right now, if Matt Ryan throws the ball in the middle under pressure one more time, I'm going to fly to Indianapolis myself and find out. Because that was the same stuff Carson Wentz was doing, and that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, Mike Strawn in the back of the end zone tipped it so it wasn't intercepted. I think we came away with that was Paris Campbell's touchdown.
Yeah.
After that, and there was another play that the guy didn't complete an interception, but let Pittman do his little 3-yard in routes and then
call it a day. I mean,
yeah, we don't need to be doing those plays. And then again, some of them they worked out, right? But this whole football style of playing roulette, like I can't watch.
I mean, just the fact that we can have that dominant. I mean, kind of on a game in the beginning half of the rushing game. All that, I mean, it was fairly dominant. And we didn't even have Naheem Hines. We didn't have JT. I mean, we still look pretty decent in terms of depth. I mean,
well, that just goes to show you that. I mean, I think our O-line depth was a lot more of a concern. I'm not worried about skill positions ever because you got the boys up front, then anything else can fall into place. Matt Ryan he can still throw.
Hey, shout out the family on the pod, man. Shout out the family. I'm sure that's Bobby Kemp on it, but 14, Alec Pierce, man. He is a stud. I would agree with that. He's a dog, man. Let's check it out one more time.
I mean, look at that play right there.
Third and 10, baby. 3rd and 10 went long.
Matt Ryan got folded in half. I mean,
let's go.
I don't know why we weren't looking for him more. I mean, shit. Remember when he got pushed out of bounds? He still made that catch. I mean, that was a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
Build his confidence. I think he's getting more and more catches and yards as the weeks go. So,
hey, so I got some of the boys in the chat, man. Let's see. So my boy Gio, finally starts scoring touchdowns and finally beat the Jaguars. Do you think that's due to the fact that the Jaguars have trouble putting pressure on the QB? Hell yeah.
I think Josh Allen was getting to us. I mean, but that's our line, though. You know what I mean?
Hey, they said it good here, man. I mean, when you protect the quarterback, give him a little bit of time. He's not as flustered when he rarely gets it. If you keep it consistent, give him some space, he can make stuff happen. He has a little bit more time. I'm curious to see what the stats come out in terms of average he had in the pocket or whatever it may be. He had more time this week, and look, it showed.
I'll take 0 sacks, and I agree with what Gio said, right? Again, just being completely real. At the same time, you can't do what Carson Wentz does and avoid sacks and then throw picks, though. At some point, like Peyton Manning, time you lay down. You can't afford 3-yard losses on screen passes. Just drop.
I'll never forget Peyton Manning. Anytime he got a finger on him, he went down.
This fall, I'll take a 1-yard loss over a 3-yard on a screenplay. But luckily, again, Jaguars lost 3 in a row now, so we hit them the stride. Oh yeah, 100%.
That's massive 100%. For the Colts. That's massive. from a standpoint of now we're tied. We're tied for what, first, or should we be leading? I guess because
we're still second because they've only lost twice. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think Gio has a good point here. Once you protect the quarterback, what he's seeing from our leftovers and the Commanders in Washington, when you don't give them time, they don't produce. So I'll take from going from 0 to 24 to now here we're dropping 34 on them. So
well, you saw there was a stat again that we haven't led in X amount of games at all in the first quarter, but we haven't allowed a touchdown in the fourth quarter at all until today, obviously, which again, I'll live with that. 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Like, cool. We'll take it. Right. At some point, and I watched it and I knew it was going to happen again. First plays, pass. Like, you know what I mean? You have to play old school football at some point, and we have to. What I didn't understand, again, it worked. We won. I'm not mad. The no huddle on an incomplete pass every time. If that works, keep doing it. I was confused about it because our O-line, they're trying to figure themselves out as well, right? So, yes, you keep the defense tired, but also our big boys up front.
Dennis Kelly, come on. Long hair, got some grays in the hair, man. But he came out there with some, he helped Josh Allen back.
On that ball.
Yeah, oh, God.
That saved the game.
Come on.
That saved the game.
Come on, that's when the heart stops there, man. That's when the heart stops. Hey, hold on. Let me get through one more here, man. Shout out some Maryland boys. Hey, Joey wanted me to shout him out. Nick Cross with the fumble recovery at the end. Typical Colts football, as we say. My heart's pounding. They start doing the backyard bullshit, whatever it's called.
Was that the only fumble Nick Cross recovered?
Yeah, he's been riding the bench a little bit, and I don't know why, man. He's got some sparks. He's got a decent amount of things he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
But they've been sitting him. And that's back to the point of Brandon. Brandon's starting over Isaiah Rodgers. That's huge. 34. He's a dog. He can tackle, and I'm telling you, those runs that went for big breaks, Brandon's lines weren't really aligned with that, man. Like he was giving up a lot of plays, a lot of space. So I think having Isaiah Rodgers start, here's a prime example for Gus Bradley to bring him in. So
I'm going to go on a crazy limb right now.
All right.
I looked at the box score and at halftime or third quarter, and it said Nick Cross had recovered a fumble. And I looked at every single play-by-play that it gave me, and he didn't. There was no fumble. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, he gets his fumble. But it said he had one in the second.
Did you throw money on that?
Nah, but Vegas, dude.
Hey, Vegas. They know, man. But I gotta say, hey, shout out Joey, shout out the Maryland boy, man. He's a big Nick Cross guy. He texted me right there. He goes, hey, Nick Cross saved the game. I'm like, all right. I got
our linebacking core, our D line stepped up. Number 91, I always can't pronounce his name. He's there as a decoy. He's there as a decoy. Yeah, well, Yanni, whatever. Right. I'll give it to him as a decoy, but Grover Stewart,
dog.
DeForest Buckner got held, pushed down on the play, even though they called it on him. That's when you called it bullshit. And who was the other guy?
Darwin Lewis, I think.
Lewis. Tyquan Lewis.
Tyquan Lewis. That's it.
Big game. Big game for him. Our linebackers, I think, are the best. Are the anchor we have. They're the most consistent. Our DBs got to figure it out, though.
Yeah, I will say, man, I thought Okereke was about to go out with the hand injury. I thought all that was going on, but they shot him up with some roids, got him back out there. He still came out dog. But let's get into the offense, man. I know we've been talking about it a little bit, some defense. We'll get through some of these questions here. So, hey, Joey, again, big shout out to the boys tuning in. Solid O-line, good for 10 to 14 points in the NFL. Dak and Zeke's rookie year is proof of that. All right. I mean, I feel you there, Joey. I don't really know what to do with that. But here we go. Alec Pierce and Paris Campbell finally showing up when they needed.
Dude, your boy Gio has perfect.
He's got grammar. I mean, the comments.
Grammar, I think he has what
don't give him that. All right,
dude is.
First live show, we can't get Gio that
I'm
much.
just saying, dude. It's Twitter and YouTube, man. Use slang terms or something.
Yeah, that's the dog. No, he's tuned in on YouTube. He's tuned in on YouTube. But, hey, Paris Campbell did step up today. That was big.
I would like more screen passes to the receivers.
And he's quick. He was the quick.
Exactly.
What was it? 3 years ago when he got drafted, he was the fastest in the draft, right? At Ohio State.
I don't know.
I want to say he's fastest in the draft. I mean, don't mark me on that, but anybody wants to do some research, do it, because I think he was the fastest in the draft.
Well, he's been hurt for 2 years too, so I mean, good on him for coming back.
And I hate to say, but was that like his first touchdown in like 2 years?
Touchdown, like probably yes, but not completion or anything of the year. So again, I'll take you, man.
Hey, Joey again. Shout out the dogs. Mo Alley Cox, a little quiet today. What do you think about that? Jelani Woods.
Yeah, keep again, I'm a straight shooter, right? The Jag, he kind of a push off for the touchdown. We won. I'm not gonna
come on now, give us something, man.
You're right, but you gotta understand. Like if the roles were reversed, we'd have been freaking out. He extended it. However, that was from them calling holdings and all that other BS when we sacked Trevor Lawrence or whatever, and then they called holding on Gilmore. It's like, come on, dude, that ball was in the bleachers. The dude wasn't catching that,
Dude.
Mo Alley Cox is a good blocking tight end. However, who's faster? I think Jelani Woods is faster, right?
If Jelani Woods is faster that big, keep him in.
That's what I'm saying. Who are you taking to catch the ball?
I got Jelani Woods. I mean,
here's what I'm saying. What we don't do. I think we should run the first play. Run the red zone. You run the ball. Not a fucking draw play either. That's the worst play besides the triple option I've ever seen. I hate it. Cannot stand it. Right? We don't have a running quarterback. Stop doing that.
I saw Matt Ryan. I was like, oh my God, he's holding his breath. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Wait till his head hits the pavement like Tua.
I formation up to middle. Put Pittman 6'3", Pierce is 6'4". The two tight ends are like 6'10". Put those double wides and just pick a side and throw it in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like take your chance.
He's that big. I mean, take your chances. He's massive. What is he, 6'7"? Let's see.
They're both like 6'6", 6'7".
6'7", 250. Throw the guy the ball.
Is that Cox or is that Woods?
This is Jelani Woods.
Well, Cox is no smaller.
I think he's like 6'5".
Fucking hell. I mean, he probably weighs 260 still. You know what I mean? Like, these
exactly.
cornerbacks are your size, my size, or your size, and you know what I mean? But
All right, hey, let's get through some of these real quick. Hey, Gio, good point. Next week, big game. Got to come up against the Titans. I'm not worried about the Commanders, of course. If you can read the screen, we ain't worried. But
Yeah.
Heineke, I ain't worried about no Commander stuff. Wentz ain't going to do it for you. We held our breath against the Jaguars week 17 last year. And you know how that ended up, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath. Heineke. Shout out AJ Flint, first time being on the pod, first time being on everything. Hey, Heineke is his boy. His boy went to ODU with Heineke. They were roommates, so big shout out. Put him in, coach. B-Con. This is the one guy right here. This is my dog. Eagles fan. Hayden don't like him, but I play nice in the Sands Rock. But hey, Matt Ryan did have a massive game. Did look like the quarterback we were anticipating to have. And no telling what JT gets healthy, man. What do you think, Hayden?
I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Yeah. If you start, Matt Ryan has a rhythm. If you start taking that rhythm away and he doesn't get his completions and pass attempts in, he might start, being a little more frantic. JT's cool, good, but now that I'm not going to speak as one game, right? Jacksonville doesn't get to the quarterback, and we'll see. Tennessee is a little bit better at that. If they can protect Matt Ryan again, I'm saying keep JT as healthy as possible for the second half of the season, right? Let's work with what we got, minimal reps. But clearly this year he's not going to put up 2,000 yards. So let's not force him to do so. He's young. And he's already hurt. We can't risk that, right?
Yeah.
And so Deion Jackson did perfectly fine. He had 40-some rushing yards and 79 and 10 receptions receiving. I'll take
Dog.
I'll take that.
Whoever picked him up on fantasy, shout out the DraftKings people. If you can pick him up for 1 or 2 weeks, dude was a dog. I think he dropped like 25 points. So
28. 28. And so Jonathan Taylor to me, same thing as Darius Leonard, dude. If we can plug them while they're gone, it doesn't even faze me. Quarterback position to me will always be the most important. And yeah, Matt Ryan plays 4,000 yards like it's nothing. So we need the receiving core.
Yeah, receiving core big time. Hey,
Turf toe ends careers, dude. It ends careers.
Hey, shout out Cole Kemp, man. Shout out the brother. Hey, he's talking to Hayden here. Frank Wright lives another day, man. Lives another day. Yeah, get him fired. He's already got his shirt off. Can't get him that much more fired up.
Let me tell you what, dude. If we don't convert that 3rd and 10, we got. Do you mean?
Yeah, it's like whoa. And then
I really thought we were going to do traditional Colts like your dad always says. Run the ball, put it in the middle of the field, 51-yard field goal for some kicker that we just got off the practice squad. I'd lose more hair than I already lost.
If we would have had a 30-yard field goal, I think I still would have been stressed out. I'm so glad that we got a TD in the end to kind of close it out. No questions asked. I know AFC player of the week, special teams player of the week last week, but I'm telling you, man, like I'm so glad that we sealed the deal in an AFC South divisional game, critical game to be a part of, and we crushed it.
Well, what your dad's watching it. I don't know. Are you streaming it?
Yeah, so I'm like 30 seconds behind. I'm like a play and a half.
I think I'm in between you and your pops. And so when he says something, I keep looking at my phone on accident. And he'll be like, typical Colts. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, dude?
Yeah.
Like, we fumble? Like, are they scoring?
Yeah. He's always yes, period, no, period, or fuck. All right, we get all 3 of them, right? So, hey, AJ Flint, this is more of a question to Hayden here. He's the big merch guy on this side. But, hey, tossing horseshoe merch is coming down. Better put on the calendar. We got to walk around Indy sometime with some merch, I guess. So,
sure.
Bobby Kemp tuning in, man. Big shout out to Pops. The Colts need to work on minimalizing penalties. I agree with that.
I didn't see any false starts.
First drive.
Besides that,
probably had 20, 25 yards, and Braden Smith right at the edge. False start, brings back, lost all momentum. You're toast after that.
But after that, did you see any?
Everything
else,
not notable. Not notable.
Everything was defensive.
Yes.
And I think maybe one holding call.
One holding call, but the holding call on defense was even like, all right. The D-Buck holding call or whatever that was.
Trash. No, 100%. The penalties were they destroyed us. What do we have, like 35 yards penalties in the first quarter? 35 yards worth?
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, make them not as detrimental. No PI calls, no holding calls down the field, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But again, right, we've been behind every week, and so the cornerbacks are going to expect that we're not getting any pressure. So for those guys that hit Trevor Lawrence and hit the ball to be thrown in the air, and the intentional grounding call from Matt Ryan, that was I thought that got tipped. Guess it didn't. Penalties will kill you, but again, turnovers will kill you more. And he didn't throw an interception and or fumble.
I mean, I feel that, and like you said, we played well on the penalty side, right? We didn't get much stuff, but what I was really disappointed about is Kenny Moore. We were talking about that during the game. I mean, don't get me started on that dude. How much space he's giving these people, the amount of tackles he's missing. I am so glad that we did not sign him to that extension.
Maybe we knew something, right? Maybe he just has a bad attitude. But there was a play down the left sideline on his side of the field. I think it was maybe a running back or a tight end or Ingram or whatever. And he like grabbed on the dude's waist and then just like let go. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, guy. Like, I don't think he has an interception on the year, does he?
No, he doesn't have anything. I mean, the amount of he missed tackles. He's not as explosive as he was last year. I mean, obviously Pro Bowl, let's go. He deserved it last year. But I haven't seen any inclination of that this year.
I'll also say this, though, right? So I talked to my guy, Rob, before the game about fantasy, Adam Thielen or Christian Kirk, because Christian Kirk was doing good. Again, we have the number one pass or against wide receivers this year. I don't understand it, but it is. Kenny Moore was locked up on Christian Kirk all game. Christian Kirk barely did anything. He has that touchdown in the back of the end zone. That was just a good play by Trevor Lawrence. So maybe Kenny Moore is just silently not getting the ball thrown his way, right? And they're exposing the age of Stephon Gilmore more so.
Very, very, very good point. I mean, that definitely might be the case, right? I mean, I expected Christian Kirk to have a massive game. I mean, holding him to just 24 yards, 4 receptions, that's pretty good. I would be curious who he was locked up on the whole game. And defense has been the lifeline of this team so far. This whole season. I mean, you can vouch for that, right?
Yeah, but you hate to see it because that Tennessee game as well, obviously Matt Ryan threw the pick, but the same situation that just was about to happen. We had the final drive, Matt Ryan throws a pick, whatever, but we allowed them to keep going. Defense is good. Our red zone defense ain't bad at all. I don't think it's bad. Obviously, they may score here and there. The problem that we have is once they get across midfield, it's like our defense says, fuck it.
Yeah.
Once, like those first from the 15 or 10 all the way to their own 45 were rock solid. And then to get to your last point, penalties. And then they get across, and we just let them run. Like the Travis Etienne run, and then the Agnew revert the reverse.
The double reverse, or was it? What was it?
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you get 30, 20 yards off of.
Yeah.
What is this, Madden 2004?
Yeah. No, Madden 05, but no. Was that Mike Vick's Madden? What was 04, right? 04, yeah. Definitely Madden 04. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense why we allowed that to happen. The holes, like they said, were massive, and then finally we closed them up. So I'm happy with the defense. Obviously, home field advantage helps. It'd be nice to beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. But Gus Bradley and Frank Reich have not sold me. I just think our athleticism and professionalism finally came into play.
Yeah. And I'd be curious what everybody else thinks, man. So, hey, it's our first live show. So if y'all got, thoughts and anything on defense, offense, let's tune it in, man. We'll get to chatting today. But I will say I was impressed with the defense as
love the kicker too.
I mean, love the kicker.
That dude booted that 40-yarder like it was a chip shot.
But I'm telling you, if it came down to the end of that game and it was a 35-yarder, I would have lost a whole hat of hair the whole time. I mean, that's just how the Colts do me, right? I still got a full.
It's genetics, man.
Hey, I still got a full head. I'm like my guy here, but I'm holding on to it as long as I can, man.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to it as long as I can. But impressions on the offensive line. What you think?
I think
still struggle. I mean, obviously, still a little bit of struggles, but I will say a little bit of sparks coming out of it, man.
It's not. I don't know what it is. It collapses. They're holding them, but I don't know if it's to Matt Ryan not stepping up because when he steps up, he fumbles. So I mean, dude, if you want to sit down and throw it and you don't fumble, be my guest. But it collapses hella fast, very fast. Like he didn't get hit or sacked today, cool. But as soon as he hikes it. Here, it just forms all the way around him, Yeah,
and even when he tries to step up, anything, it's a little bit difficult.
Josh Allen isn't even the best defensive end. Now, granted, maybe it's just Jacksonville jitters. If that's what you want to call it, right? That's plug that, right? I just thought of that, Jacksonville jitters, baby.
There you go. Get that in the comments.
You know what I mean? But again, they were solid. You can't Stats don't lie, right? They were solid enough. Just very frantic. It'd be nice. I know your dad and my dad will say it, right?
Right there, what he just said on cue.
Exactly.
Hey,
Your dad will say it.
no,
I wish
have a
we
lot
had
of time,
Tom
man.
Brady's time. Tom Brady has a brick wall in front of him forever. It'd be nice for Matt Ryan just to chill.
Chill. And that's what we talked about earlier this week, right? You know, he has no time, but then the 2 to 10 plays that he does have time, he's got jitters still in there. He doesn't believe he has much time. So I think today we gave him a little bit more consistency in terms of time.
Sure.
I enjoyed Dennis Kelly on the side. I know he had a couple times where he got a little burnt, but Dennis Kelly's shown some sight. Maybe get a consistent piece. I think he stepped in for Raymond. But I think the offensive line at least showed a little bit of life. I mean, we've been all season not showing no life, man. So
it's either that or Matt Ryan just got everybody fired up, like you said, man. And then if that's the case, the first drive of the game, we were good, obviously, until the incompletions or whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
My computer froze, and so I missed the first drive or when they punted or whatever. But make the offense around shorter passes, right? Do the screen passes. Matt Ryan, he waits on the screen passes. So when Deion Jackson got hurt, hell of a catch, because if he doesn't catch that screen pass, that's a pick six. He caught it, ended up twisting his torso and landing on his quad. He got hurt from it, whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding on to the ball finally. Somebody can catch
Yeah.
it. But, you got to do quicker passes then. You know, Michael Pittman's successful in that first slant pass. You start doing post. He's successful, but now we're playing with fire because Matt Ryan's throwing off his back foot, lofting it over defenders. You know what I mean? Now we're –
Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver core is looking nice, but I shouldn't say nice. Decent. Right?
I like him better. I think I like him better.
I like him. I got faith in it, but here's my thing. You get Michael Strawn in the back of the end zone one-handed, you're 6 foot plus. You need to pull those in, man.
I mean, that's honestly –
only reason I say that is because these are these tipped interceptions that change games. He didn't intercept it, right? But it was very damn close. Well, on our own end zone.
Sure.
That they almost picked it up because of a tip pass. It's like Michael Strawn. Hit your hands, you catch it. I know it's hard, but
yeah, let's
what do you think about the extra point? The go for two. Michael Pittman over commercial he got rolled back, but
I mean, Michael Pittman, good on you for covering it because there was no angle that showed. It was just the initial, which I thought there was a rule that if your hand was
pulled
under
it into his face. No, it hit turf. You gotta obviously fight the ground, right? You gotta.
No, but they say if your hand's under and it hits turf at some point, but you have control, it still counts. Like if your hand's here in the first half hits, I know they changed that rule either last year or 2 years ago, right? So
yeah,
I'm cool with going for it. I wish more NFL coaches had the nuts like college coaches do. Because college coaches, 4th and 5, they're fine.
They don't give a shit. Yeah, they're going for it.
They're going there. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, I'll take that all day long. I just I prefer us to start run. We did not run the ball in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, but that's almost expected for this game, right? That's almost expected. You got Nyheim Hines out. You got the number 1 JT. He's out. I mean, obviously, Deion Jackson had a big load on himself today. I mean, he came out. He performed where he needed to. But is it going to be a run, workhorse offense today? I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But I would have hoped so, right? So I mean, back to Gia's point, right? Like, wait till Taylor gets healthy. Matt Ryan playing some consistent football. Like, I mean, it showed a little bit of light. Or Brennan, shout out Brennan. But if JT's healthy, be a big piece, man.
Do we rely on JT though because he averaged less than 3 yards a carry when he was in? So did he have sophomore slump already before his injury?
Yeah.
If Deion Jackson is coming in second year, has something to prove, keep him in.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know the NFL is a business. You play who you pay. I get that 100%. But you want to win football games. You can't pay anybody. The fans don't show up. And you get no more money.
Irsay ain't gonna let that happen.
No. So if Deion Jackson is running like he's supposed to run, like our parents, they love Dominic Rose. They loved him. Right? They hated Joseph. Dominic Rose ran in a straight line. Joseph Adai didn't.
Joseph Adai danced in the backfield.
Exactly. So Jonathan Taylor's going to start being hesitant because he's been hit the first 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Then let somebody that has nothing to lose. Deion Jackson has nothing to lose because if they're both back, he's a third string or he's practice squad again.
Yeah. Philip Lindsay didn't have much of an impact.
He didn't play a lot either, though.
Yeah, he also didn't play a lot, right? Yeah, Deion obviously held the workload, but I think just in general, I mean, I was impressed with today's game. I mean, overall, offensive line showed a little bit of sparks.
I'll take 34 points. We can compete with anybody.
34 points, most all season. So
yeah,
let's take that grind. I will say Matt Ryan is going to be in an ice bath right now as we speak.
Matty Ice, baby.
His neck, Matty Ice in ice, because dude, his neck. I mean, the amount of times that the referee bunch there don't. I mean, what are your thoughts on them? I mean, they had the call. What was that against the Bucks? That
Bucks and the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, they called some controversial calls, obviously, but we had that bunch there, and they picked up the flag 3 times. I mean, it was a little discombobulated, but I'll tell you, Matt Ryan was getting his.
Hey, they didn't call it pass
chewed
interference on Jelani Woods. I'm not saying shit.
Yeah.
Right, I'll be a sore winner, sore loser. I don't give a damn. They didn't call. It was a blatant pass interference, and we got our way. I'm taking it. 34 points. Next week that's in Tennessee next week.
Yeah, that's a big game. So I'm sure. Hey, no horse around podcast, man. Steven, he's in Tennessee behind enemy lines. So we'll see what maybe get his input on some stuff on what he kind of thinks. But overall, Colts win, man. Big.
Hell yeah.
Big. So hey, everybody that's tuning in, I know I think it's like 2 people right now, but everybody tuned in today. We much appreciate it. And thanks for joining the live reaction, baby. Colts tossing horseshoes. Van Kemp, Hayden. Peace out.
Guys. See y'all on next week.
Hey.